Hey everyone, Chad here with Digging History, and welcome to this week's episode. So this week I am back out here at the 1740 house because I want to hit up the two other fields, but also I'm hoping to get down into that front field, or excuse me, that side field in the lower front corner where I was last video, where it just, got chased away because it was just so ungodly hot. Today, overcast, there's a slight chance of rain, but I'm hoping it doesn't do that. I'm hoping to stay cool, nice breeze, and let's have some fun. So we'll see you guys on the first find. Well, lucky for me today, I am back out here at the 1740 house, but it is overcast quite a bit today, and a lot cooler. There's a bit of a breeze. So I thought I'd come back out and try to get back out into this lower corner of the field where I was at in last video, before I got chased away, before it got just too hot and crazy. So my second signal, my first one was just a piece of melted lead, but my second signal here, let me flip you around and take a look. Right there, looks like we've got a D-buckle. Heck yeah. All right. Piece of horse tack, but I'll take that. Nice little D-buckle to throw in the pouch. All right, cool. Let's keep going. Well, the second signal here, I'm not too far from that first one, which was a D-buckle. And look at this. Another D-buckle. A little bit deeper than the last one. Still has a little bit of the tongue left on it as well. But hey, cool. Another little D-buckle. All right, let's keep going. Well, that field over there on the other side of those trees turned out to be a bust. Other than those two D-buckles, really didn't find anything. So I'm back out here in the front field. House is right up to the trees there. Had a signal here, my first signal in this field, and looks like it is part of like maybe a lipstick tube or something like that. Could see some kind of shiny coming through there. There might even be a pattern on it. I'm not 100% certain, but that is the first find in this field, so hopefully more signals. All right, let's keep going. All right, not too far from that lipstick case. Had a signal down here. It was ringing super high, like high 20s, low 30s, and you can see I just popped this out. I'm not 100%. Ooh, look at that. Oh my goodness, is that a button? You know what? I think it is. I feel like there's a shank right there, but look at that. Holy cow. Let me get this cleaned up and I will be right back with you guys. All right, well, check out this button. It is absolutely gorgeous. Floral design on the front. But check it out. There is still, inside the shank, there is still thread in it. Oh my goodness. I thought it was going to be a two-piece, but it's actually a one-piece. It's a convex button. But with thread still stuck in the shank. That is so cool. Oh man, that is beautiful. I mean, I'll be able to get that cleaned up hopefully a little bit more later at home, get some more of that dirt out of there, bring out some more of the detail. But man, what a absolutely gorgeous button. This is probably the most beautiful button I've ever found. I mean, just love the design. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's keep going. Well, I am all the way down in the front corner of this front field. Had a signal down in there, and I think I got myself another button with shank. Yes, sir. That's what it appears to be. Now, the question is there anything on the front of this button, like the last one? Oof. Hard to tell. It's pretty wet down in this area. You know what? Let me get a toothpick on this, see if I can't get it cleaned up, see if we've got anything on the face of this, and I'll be right back with you guys. Well, unfortunately, it looks pretty smooth on the front. I don't really see any design. It's kind of gets wet down in this area, so it's pretty chunked up, but check it out, full shank. That's awesome. I will take that. Another button. All right. Well, let's keep playing in this lower corner because so far so good. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one. Well, it has been quite a while since I've been able to turn on the camera. Still making passes through this field. Kind of, if you see that kind of utility pole and this large tree right here, I'm going between the two of those. I started back off the tree line and I'm working up towards those actual trees. So I'm just kind of making a grid pattern through the field. But I had a screamer down here, real screamer, and look at that big old buckle. I don't think it's very old. It still has pieces of leather. Obviously a horse tack of some sort. They did have horses at one time in this field a long time ago, but oh, cool. Still a neat little find. All right, we'll throw her in the pouch and keep going. Well, I swung over that hole before filling it back in, and there was more of it in there. Almost have the whole bridle. Kind of crazy. Like I said, I don't think it's very old, but still a pretty cool find that the homeowner will enjoy. So, all right, let's keep going. Well, still making my way up through this field. I'm tired. It's brutal. It's a big hill. Had a signal down here, screamer. Check it out. It's another little D-buckle. Aw, I'm just a little guy. But, yay, another signal and another old item saved from the ground. Gotta love that. I do have to say, I am loving, let me zoom out a little bit. I am loving more and more this shovel from Excalibur. Again, paint scheme is amazing. And this is the Sir K. I think I said last time it was the Lancelot. I was mistaken. Is the Sir K model because it is double serrated there. And there's that Sir K sticker on it. And of course, Excalibur right there. Great shovels. Timber. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Hopefully we get on some more stuff here. Well, Mother Nature is starting to treat me to a little bit of a cool down. It's starting to rain, which is kind of funny because it wasn't supposed to rain today. Anyway, I'm up here in the small side field. I did all that up in the front field, and other than those two buttons and that D-buckle and that little thing that I think is part of a lipstick tube, I didn't really find anything else other than trash. Up here, this is second signal. First signal sounded really good, but ended up being a shotgun shell. This one, though, is pretty cool. Let me flip you around and show you here. So down here in the hole, I had a screaming hit, and it's coming apart, but it's a two-piece button. Busted off shank, but check it out. It's got a camel on it. Or at least what I believe is a camel. It looks like a camel. Yeah, I think so. That is really cool looking. Oh man, finding the cool looking buttons today, that's for sure. Like I said, it's coming apart. When it popped out, it was already kind of splitting apart. So I'm going to try my best to keep it all together. I'm going to put it in my finds box. But that is really, really cool. All right, let's keep going. Hey everyone, so I wanted to kind of jump in here for a minute and talk a little bit about this button. Anytime we're out detecting and we find something that's unique, try to do a little bit of the history, research the history behind it to see what more we can find out about it. So obviously with this button having the camel on it, as you saw in the clip, my first instinct was that it was just a sportsman's button. But when I got home and I started doing a little bit of the research, I found a few examples of it online that were identical to the button I had found, but it referred to them as being a Camel Corps button. Me initially thinking Camel Corps, sure, maybe like World War II, North Africa, they could have used, and probably did, use camels. But these were actually referring to pre-Civil War Camel Corps, and including a Confederate Camel Corps. So I started really heading down that rabbit hole as it was, and learned a lot about something that I had never heard of before. So, in as early, I think it was as 1836, there was a gentleman by the name of Major Crossman of the U.S. Army. And he was starting to advocate for the use of camels as pack, just to be able to move, equipment and things like that across the U.S. Southwest. And then later in about 1848, there was a Major Wayne of the Quartermaster Corps, and he tried to convince a senator from Mississippi by the name of Jefferson Davis, yes, that Jefferson Davis, that camels would be essential pack animals. And Jefferson Davis went before Congress, but he was not able to convince them. Fast forward about 7 years, and Jefferson Davis is now Secretary of War under President Franklin Pierce. And he tried it once again, and this time actually succeeded in convincing Congress. So Congress allocated about $30,000 for the acquisition of camels. So he sent Major Wayne over to the Mediterranean region to acquire the camels, and he acquired 33 of them, including 5 camel drivers. They arrived first in Texas, and then they were moved to San Antonio, and then later to Camp Verde, Texas. And that's where they would remain. A second order about a year later brought the total of camels in the U.S. up to 70. That second order actually ended up over in California. Then fast forward to 1861 in the spring, obviously the Civil War broke out, and the Confederates took over once Texas seceded from the Union. The Confederates took over control of Camp Verde as well as those camels. They were never really used in any major operations throughout the Civil War. The ones that were in California, they were just bounced around everywhere throughout California because nobody knew what exactly to do with those camels. Then when Edwin Stanton caught wind of it, when he was Secretary of War, he thought it was a ridiculous idea. And so he ordered the sale of all those camels that were in California. And at the end of the Civil War, once the Union recaptured all of the forts in the South, the ones that were at Camp Verde were then indeed sold off as well, pretty much ending the U.S. Camel Corps. Now, that's an amazing story. It is a very brief history. There's so much more on the Camel Corps, and I'm going to put a bunch of links down below. So if you want to learn more about the U.S. Camel Corps, there's a bunch of information that is out there. It is really cool read, something I never knew of from history. I'm hoping you guys enjoy it and get caught up in as much as I did. Now, having said that, also in my research, looking at the old button books, I could not find a U.S. Camel Corps button anywhere. Now, it was an experiment. It was not actually, a legitimate regiment. It was just an experiment that the Army was doing. So I couldn't find anywhere where buttons were actually issued, nor could I find were there any Confederate buttons that were actually issued. So I did some additional cleaning on the button. As you could tell from the video too, it came out of the hole. It was already broken. It was in 2 pieces. So the more I cleaned it, I was actually able, on the inside of the button, to be able to see the back mark, in reverse, of course. So once I started researching that, I was actually able to find out that it was indeed a sportsman's button as I first had thought. And it's like late 1800s sportsman's button, but it's still an amazing button because I've never found a sportsman's button before. And then to have one that, and I'll post a link up to it, that supposedly the design is scarce. I put that loosely in quotes. It's what it says on the site, that it's a scarce design. Either way, it's just a super cool button that I'm excited to have in my collection. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Like I said, I'm going to put a bunch of links down below to, if you want to learn more about the U.S. Camel Corps. There was even one camel that was quote unquote famous, that I believe it was during the Battle of Vicksburg, or the Siege of Vicksburg, that was killed. But it was a Confederate camel. There's this great story about that. I'll put links to all of that stuff down below in the description if you want to learn more, as well as a link to the site where I found what the button indeed was, a sportsman's button. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. And let's get you back to the show. Well, hey everyone, that's it for this week's episode. I guess the rain is going to chase me away, but what a great day. Get out in the field. With the sun behind the clouds, it was very tolerable today. So very happy for that. Happy for the finds. I mean, 2 absolutely gorgeous buttons, ones that I've never found before. So Really excited about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And also consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already, because all that stuff just helps out with our analytics and it helps us to continue to grow. So as always, we appreciate your support, and thanks for watching.